Hey, my name's Ryan. I do digital marketing for local businesses, and in this video, I'm going to react to some interesting and creative marketing campaigns. This first one is from Burger King, which looks like kind of a risky ad to be running. So I guess the backstory here is that Burger King is known as the restaurant with the most fires dating back to 1954. I guess that's an actual fact. So rather than just trying to hide that, they kind of embraced it. And they used it to promote the fact that they flame grill their burgers as opposed to flat grill, I guess, which is what their competitors do. So this is pretty interesting and kind of risky, but I think Burger King is kind of known for doing that kind of thing. This second ad is from Heinz, and they're advertising their hot ketchup, it looks like. So this is kind of interesting. It's a picture of a fry that's being singed, it's on fire and it's smoking to demonstrate that the ketchup is so hot. So I think what's cool about this is that they have this key message, this new product that they're trying to communicate, but they're not stating that explicitly with copy. Instead, they're using visuals to communicate that. So I bet people probably look at this for the first time and think like, what does this mean? It's kind of confusing, and it maybe makes them look at it for a second time, and once they understand, they get the concept, but kind of an interesting way to communicate that. This next ad is advertising sugar-free candy. So it looks like a similar concept to that last one where the key message is kind of being communicated visually, so you kind of have to interpret it on your own. And I guess the idea is that without sugar in the candy, the ants here are not interested, otherwise they'd be crawling all over it. So pretty interesting. Again, probably makes you look a second time. Definitely starting to notice a pattern among these ads that people think are quite creative. This next ad is from Volkswagen. It looks like it's a full-page magazine ad maybe, and the caption is "Think Small," and obviously there's a lot of negative space with just a tiny Volkswagen in the top left corner. So it's interesting. I imagine that if you're flipping through magazines, you're probably used to seeing full-page ads, and I think what most advertisers probably do is take up as much space as they can and include as much information as they can. So this ad is kind of doing the opposite of that and using mostly negative space to create probably an unexpected visual. Like when you're flipping onto that page, you probably don't expect it to be so blank. And it's also communicating their key message here to think small. So I guess the idea is that it's a small vehicle. It's also interesting how it's off-centered. So it's a little bit to the left and more toward the top of the page. I'm assuming that that misalignment is adding to the unexpected nature of this ad, and again, probably captures the attention of their audience. This next ad is from Chevy Trailblazer. It's an Instagram ad, it looks like. You can see they're creating this kind of optical illusion, which is interesting. They've got this image of a kayaker in the background with a car and tire tracks driving over top of it. So I think what most advertisers probably do is simply think, okay, I have a square that I need to fill up with a photo or a video, but they don't really put much consideration into the medium or the platform that that ad is going to live on and the experience that that user is likely to have up until they see that ad. But in this case, they're taking that into consideration and designing the ad concept around the environment, I guess, that ad will live. And then also that background image of that kayaker is probably representative of who they think their target customers are. I'm assuming with the name Trailblazer, it's some kind of like outdoor SUV type car. And so this is probably an activity that audience likely is interested in or at least can relate with. So this next ad looks like a Facebook ad from Barkbox. Looks like a UGC ad, a video of a dog opening up the package. So if you don't know what Barkbox is, it's like a subscription business. They send a package each month, and inside the package you get a bunch of toys and treats that you can give to your dog. So I think UGC content is typically good, although it can come across as kind of contrived at times, or like deliberately trying to use UGC to like almost trick your audience. And I think a lot of people see through that, especially with human testimonials. A lot of them seem fake. Sometimes businesses will pay for testimonials or reviews, so they don't really feel authentic. But in this case, it's UGC of a dog opening up a package, so you can't really fake that. It's kind of a feel-good ad, it's fun to watch, and it really demonstrates the benefit that you're going to get from purchasing this product. So I think in this case, this is a really good use of UGC and probably serves them quite well. They probably have a lot of customers that submit this content that they can use anyway, so probably lots of ad creative that they can use and test for their campaigns. So I think this is pretty good. This next ad is really a few different ads. It's from a company called Airtable. So if you don't know what Airtable is, it's kind of hard to describe. It's like a spreadsheet mixed with like a database. But what's interesting about these ads that I found here are that they're not advertising their product directly. So you can see here, they're trying to get you to click on their landing page, which looks like this, and then download their report on marketing trends. So it's like a white paper, I guess. And then this is what's going to be included inside that white paper. So why I think this is interesting is because most companies in this case would probably just advertise the features or the benefits of using their Airtable, their spreadsheet feature, or like using it for productivity or something like that. But in this case, they're taking a bit of a different approach. They understand who their target audience is. In this case, it's marketing professionals. And so instead of advertising the features that are relevant to them, they're just giving them a lead magnet that provides value that's completely irrelevant to their product in some ways. And so by delivering that value to them up front, they get their email address, and then on the back end in an email sequence or through retargeting ads, they can then start to promote Airtable and try and encourage them to sign up for a free trial or something like that. I think another way to think about this is targeting. So if they really feel that the marketing professional is an audience segment that would really benefit their business and would benefit from using Airtable, then if they had just simply advertised Airtable, that might attract people in marketing and other industries as well. So there might be some irrelevant, potentially unqualified people that are opting in. But in this case, with this marketing white paper, it's probably only going to be interesting to marketing professionals. It's going to be disinteresting to anyone who's not in marketing. And so in this case, they're really being specific with who they're targeting here. So it's an interesting strategy. This next ad is from Whiskers, which is cat food, which is kind of a funny looking ad. It's of a house cat chasing a gazelle. And then in the bottom right, the caption is feeding your cat's instincts. So again, this is a good use of a visual to communicate your key message. But I also think it's a really good use of complementary ad creative and copy. So if you just saw this image, but you didn't have that caption in the bottom right, you probably would have no idea what this is about. It would still be kind of humorous to look at, but you wouldn't understand the connection to Whiskers cat food. But because it's paired with the copy, they complement each other. So I know a lot of times, myself included, you'll see where the headline and the creative just state the same information. So it might be like download this free PDF, and then the creative is a picture of the PDF with text overlay that also says download the free PDF. And so each of those components can kind of live on their own, but they don't really complement each other. They're just stating the same thing. So I think it's interesting in this case where, they're both part of the ad creative, but the copy in this case really supports the creative, and they kind of need to be together in order for it to make sense. And then this last ad is from Stabilo Highlighters, which is kind of an interesting ad as well. So I guess the concept, this is just one ad. It looks like a full page magazine ad again. There's multiple variations of this, but the concept is to take a historical photo. In this case, it's a photo of the Apollo launch or re-entering the Earth, I think. The highlighter is highlighting a specific person in this group photo. Specifically, it's highlighting an important woman who was responsible for calculating something that was important for the safe return of this mission. So it's like an important piece of history and highlighting an important figure that was responsible for part of that story. And it's kind of using their product as a way of communicating or telling that story, I guess, in a sense. So it's an interesting ad. It definitely captures my attention, especially the fact that it's a black and white photo and the only color is that yellow highlight. So it makes it very kind of clear and evident what the product is. I guess my only question with this ad would be, like, does this make you want to buy this highlighter more? Or like, does this increase awareness for this brand? The ad itself and the message and the story is interesting, but it doesn't necessarily tie in together with a highlighter. So I'm not too sure about that, but regardless, I definitely think there's some creativity here. Let me know what you think of this style of video, and if seeing ad examples like this is helpful for giving you some inspiration for your own ad campaigns. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.